Hello, I'm Nicola from the Western DuPage Chamber of Commerce publication. In this interview, journalist Alison Baker speaks to Dr. Olesia Szaleska, founder and CEO of Peace of Mind Psychological Services. Peace of Mind Psychological Services has a team of highly trained doctors that help patients take the first step towards emotional healing to create positive life changes. Dr. Szaleska discusses the impact the global pandemic has had on our collective mental health, how the demand for virtual mental health services has risen, and how to seek out a therapist.
Yeah, so what mental health services your company provides, and if those include virtual services at all.
Absolutely. So kind of, like I said, we work with individuals from teens all the way up to seniors, and we have clinicians that kind of specialize in various areas. I personally kind of work with individuals with various mood disorders, depression, anxiety, bipolar, as well as seniors that have any kind of dementia diagnosis or cognitive changes that are going on, or even just general life transitions. I feel like, especially with COVID and what's been going on, seniors are a population that have really kind of taken the blunt of that, right? There's a lot of isolation. That there was definitely at the beginning there, even currently, with comorbid medical issues, that there's a higher risk of death or dying. So obviously, there's a lot of more trauma associated with that. There's a lot more kind of worries and anxiety, as well as grief for friends that we're losing. So that's another kind of area that we can begin to kind of work through and process through. That's definitely important. I also work a lot with, I'm a trauma focused therapist, so I'm kind of understand a lot of the trauma perspectives, and work with individuals that have some kind of trauma in their life.
And how are those
the telehealth services?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the telehealth services. Yeah, so a lot of insurances are currently covering telehealth services.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is a great, and I even believe the governor of Illinois has extended that for a few years. So that's definitely in the works. That's something that the American Psychological Association, as well as the Illinois Psychological Association, is pushing for, because we are seeing such great benefit from being able to connect with our clients virtually and have ongoing support that is outside the office. That's
great. Yeah. So then from your perspective, you would say that the insurance companies are doing what they can to kind of support the mental health? Because I know, I don't know how many years ago, but these services weren't exactly included under most insurances. So was that a transition that happened at the beginning of the pandemic, or was that kind of already in the works?
So there have been telehealth services that were being covered, but I believe it was just harder for clinicians to get panel to get telehealth services, right. And the cost was much lower for clinicians to be reimbursed. That's why a lot of clinicians weren't choosing to do the telehealth services at the time. With the pandemic, that did really open up and made it much easier for clients and clinicians to connect and feel like they're getting reimbursed at a rate that is appropriate for the service.
Right. So then would you say that the pandemic has kind of helped to reduce the stigma around getting mental health help, considering that like it's more available to people and more people are seeking it out? I don't know that, maybe that, yeah.
Right. So, kind of think about the stigma surrounding mental health. It definitely includes, that people with mental health are more violent or flawed in some way. There's an inability to function. I think that these are all the kinds of stigmas that have been around for a while, and people have just not been exposed to enough thought about what mental health is really there for, and that it's, that's a portion of maybe of what's going on, but definitely, research upon research has said that the individuals with mental health are in no way more violent or flawed or have an inability to function. We just need a little bit of help and support. And definitely the pandemic has opened up the conversation, which is such an important part of anytime we're battling stigma, is to talk about it more, to be open to have this conversation about what mental health is and what it isn't, and what going to a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist how it does, right? What that looks like. And I think as people, outside of COVID, I think the Olympics had a lot to do and with increasing that conversation and having that openness of conversation, that we all have pressures and stress, and sometimes we need some extra time to deal with that and process it, and we can't just do it all alone.
Right.
We're a social creature, we process things socially, not just in our own mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
Did you start to see more people seeking out your services during the pandemic? Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely been an increase in mental health need of people reaching out, as well as people even just Google searching depression, anxiety. I think there's the latest statistic I heard was about 300% higher.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant number, right?
Yeah.
Of people just search, like even Google searching.
Curious about what this means
anxiety.
Now.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of doubling of various rates of depression, anxiety, suicidality that has occurred, and definitely something that we need to be actively connecting with and talking about, and having treatment options available, because the treatment options are out there and they are available.
Right. And so are your offices back open now, or are you guys doing a hybrid and a virtual and also in-person services?
So we're kind of a unique provider to where we have in-office services, if that's what people choose. We also, because we see this, the senior population, we sometimes provide services in home, especially if it's like psychological testing for dementia or something like that. And then we also go to communities, but then we also have the telehealth option available for individuals that are still interested in telehealth, or if there's an anxiety about connecting physically with somebody and then kind of going into a physical location.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So then you're able to, in certain cases, go out and visit the people who need the help. That's what you're saying that's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of on a case by case basis, but absolutely that's an option.
Right. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to add to kind of summarize your services, or the how certain services are reducing the stigma around mental health? Is there anything else that you wanted to add to
that? To add to, I guess I was a little confused about the question too.
Oh yeah, just about your services and how those services are kind of either reducing the stigma around mental health, or just giving people the help that they need.
Sure, absolutely. So we're definitely, open and available to kind of talk to individuals that call and reach out, and have a number of providers available to even have that initial phone call without necessarily having to come into the office and see somebody. But, I think sometimes even a 5, 10, 15-minute conversation with a provider before you start seeing them might put you at ease.
Right.
And be helpful. So obviously we're kind of always available to do that even before scheduling an initial interview. And I think sometimes just talking to a live person, getting a brief idea of what that service is going to look like, and kind of what the process of therapy would look like, is helpful as well, that you don't have to right away walk into the office and wait for someone to be seen. Like, you can connect with someone for a few minutes and see if it's a good fit, because I think that's the other piece of mental health, is finding someone that's a good fit for you.
Yeah, I think the non-traditional approach that kind of the internet has given us regarding therapy services definitely helped ease a lot of concerns with finding the right person, and it makes it a lot easier to find your exact match. I don't know.
Exactly. You are shopping for a therapist sometimes a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Absolutely. But I think therapists have understood that for a while, but I think it's about kind of leaving, having the conversation with the community and with the client, that we understand that we might not be a good fit, and that's okay. That's okay to say, that I don't have to commit right away to this experience and this person, because I signed paperwork where, I sent insurance. It's okay to kind of say, okay, well, this isn't a good fit, or it's okay to move on to somebody else.
That takes the pressure off of. I was just saying that takes the pressure off of.
It takes that pressure off. Absolutely. Yeah, and we're always available to provide referrals. We connect with other clinicians and individuals in our area that might be helpful, and might be we know some of these people more personally, and can maybe transition them to someone that would be a good fit.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for chatting today. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I think that's good. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was really nice meeting you.
You too. You have a good day.
Thank you. Bye. You too. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this conversation with Dr. Shaleska from Peace of Mind Psychological Services. If you would like to get in touch, visit the website at peaceofmindpsychologicalservices.com, give them a call on 630-686-8875, or email info@pompsinc.com. Thanks for watching.